Straight ahead on 12 News, a perfect way to honor a little girl whose name starts with the letter P.
School meant so much to her. She always had a great time here.
Plus, there's snow in the forecast, but some local businesses say too little, too late. But first, what seems to be driving good-paying jobs in the local housing boom. 12 News starts right now. And hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Johnson.
And I'm Alexandra Renslow. When Smith's Medical relocates its headquarters to Plymouth this year, it will join a growing list of medtech companies that call Plymouth home. The high concentration of companies in the western suburbs has a big impact. This week's Business Matters kicks off our newscast with a look at why Plymouth has become a medical technology hub.
This is the cool thermotherapy system.
When Plymouth-based medical device company Urologics was founded in 1991,
it treats enlarged prostate disease, which is also commonly known as BPH, or benign prostatic hyperplasia.
This is the original product idea that fueled the startup.
Patients don't have to go to the operating room. It's done under a local anesthesia. They're home the same day.
24 years after its start, the company has grown to 60 employees and now produces 2 devices for treatment of enlarged prostate disease. Urologics is certainly not the only medical technology company in Plymouth. Last year, a report from the Minneapolis-St. Paul Business Journal found 24 medtech companies located in Plymouth. And trade association Life Science Alley says that number has now grown to 30. It includes companies such as Covidien, Intellis Medical, and St. Jude Medical, which expanded its Plymouth facility in 2013. The 3-story expansion now houses over a third of St. Jude Medical's 3,000 Minnesota-based employees.
I think if you look at the Twin Cities from Eden Prairie up to Maple Grove, that is the high-tech or the med-tech corridor.
Plymouth city manager says the hub of med-tech companies in the western suburbs brings high-paying jobs that fuel the housing market and retail in Plymouth. And it's no coincidence other medical device companies are choosing to relocate here.
There's a highly educated workforce in the community. There's great housing, there's great schools, and a great park system. So I think we're able to attract those people.
Urologics CEO Greg Fluitt echoes that sentiment.
You know, you have these great large companies like Medtronic, Boston Scientific, St. Jude, that are all in this greater area. And so that becomes this great fountain of talent.
When a company such as his looks to expand, having other medical device companies and supply partners nearby is a huge asset.
You have this great access to all sorts of potential partners for the company.
In an effort to attract even more med tech companies and other businesses to Plymouth, the city plans to add an economic development manager position this summer.
How hard is it to get from point A to point B using public transit? State Representative Mike Freiberg is joining 24 lawmakers in a transit challenge to see what it's like to get to work using buses and trains. His trip to the Capitol today started with a bus to daycare, another bus to get to the light rail station downtown, and then a train to St. Paul. It took about 2 hours, including a few minutes on the wrong train. But Freiberg says he was fortunate to find a bus that goes to his children's daycare in the suburbs.
If they were at a home-based daycare or something in the middle of a residential neighborhood, I'd probably have a lot more trouble being able to actually do that part of it. Because there are parents, I think, who have to take their kids to school or take them other places when they go on public transportation.
Funding public transit will be up for debate as part of the governor's $6 billion transportation plan. Well, snow is in the forecast Tuesday, but will still be well below average for this time of year.
Experts say we've gotten just below 26 inches of snow, which is 15 inches below normal. New Hope weather watcher Steve Reckers only has 2 inches of measurable snow in his backyard right now. He says the low snow totals are a result of how the jet stream behaved this year. That, combined with the lack of moisture from the southwest, have resulted in a dry winter.
November had over 10.5, so you can tell that the rest of the months, the other 3 months, December, January, and February, certainly didn't have much at all. And I think most people would agree that it hadn't been much of a winter in terms of snowfall.
There's still hope for snow lovers. March is typically the snowiest month. We usually get an average of 11 inches of snow in March and about 4 inches in April.
The lack of snow is drying up profits at some local businesses. Heinen's Motorsports says Mother Nature has drastically cut into its profits, and reporter Sonia Goins has more.
Good afternoon, Heinen's.
Snowmobile sales are kind of cold at Heinen's Motorsports.
It's definitely difficult.
These souped-up sleds are sitting on the showroom floor.
Can I get your name real quick?
Instead of snow-packed trails.
We got a lot of extra inventory. We ended up purchasing a lot of sleds, praying that this year's snow would be as good as last year's. Thanks, bye.
Store managers thought things would turn around. They even brought in extra workers earlier this year in hopes of a snowy winter.
They had to get laid off and weren't asked to come back because we didn't have enough work for them.
Heinen Sports normally sells about 500 snowmobiles during an average winter season.
Are you from the state of Minnesota?
But that didn't happen this year.
We started out this year with a couple hundred sleds, and we'll still have about half that left over.
Now, Minnesotans might not have any reasons to come and hit the trail, but there is still plenty of snow in other places, and people who live in those areas are coming in for some good deals.
11 hours to get here.
Jay Clowers drove here from Detroit, Michigan.
We got over a foot of snow over there. I seen these guys online. I purchased a four-wheeler from them. Got a good deal. Sorry, it was worth coming out to Minnesota to get it.
He says it was worth the long drive. He saved about $5,000 on his new toy.
These guys are giving us better deals, so we'll drive through the night to get here.
Management says it's too late to recoup snowmobile sales for this year, but on the upside, there could be some good bargains for consumers down the road.
We stopped reordering a lot of the stuff that we would normally reorder, and we just are hanging on to it, and we're going to start a closeout sale coming middle of March here just to get rid of whatever we have left.
In Osseo, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
Well, Heinen says despite the slow snowmobile sales, there have been some people who have come into the store to look for motorcycles, and they say it's the earliest that's happened.
Meantime, there is no slowing down for Golden Valley-based business Mortenson. The construction company was picked to build new practice facilities for Gopher football and basketball on the U of M campus. The $190 million project is considered vital in improving Gopher athletics. Of course, Mortenson is also busy working on the new Viking Stadium. Work on the U of M Athletics Village is expected to begin in the fall. After months of planning and construction, the Play and Learn Cafe opened today in Minnetonka. The Golden Valley resident behind the indoor playground says it's geared towards kids ages 0 to 6. It features educational toys and a climbing structure. There's also a restaurant with healthy, kid-friendly food.
I wanted a restaurant where you could go enjoy yourself, have a good, healthy meal. And when you're done, your kids are done, your kids can go play and you can actually finish and enjoy your food and conversation while the kids are playing.
The Play and Learn Cafe is located off Cedar Lake Road and is open 7 days a week. The cost is $5 per child. Coming up, a touching tribute in Robbinsdale to a life lost too soon.
Then later in sports, a close battle between Armstrong and Eden Prairie in section boys basketball.
But first, what could be a terribly slow Tuesday morning commute? We could get 2 to 4 inches of snow during the morning rush hour. Today was all about the letter P at Lakeview Elementary in Robbinsdale.
The students held a party to honor their friend and classmate, Persephone Banks, who died last month. Cassie Bonstrom has more on how the school came together to celebrate the vibrant little girl.
The lunchroom of an elementary school is always full of energy, but Monday it was so full it was almost bursting at the seams.
We wanted to celebrate Persephone. And with kids, you have to celebrate life.
They did so by throwing a pea party, a big celebration for a little girl who died last week unexpectedly of a rare strep infection. For today's party, Persephone's classmates decorated rainbows. They wore pink and purple, her favorite colors, and the letter P.
It's a pin for Persephone and it has a P.
Our cook said I can have pea food and pizza and pea pods and pears and pineapple, and we just thought it would be a great way to honor her.
The school invited Persephone's parents to attend the party. Not easy to do amidst the overwhelming grief.
It's a little harder than I thought it would be. She was supposed to be sitting here at this table, but it's nice that they're having a party for her.
Chris and Amy received homemade cards and condolences, and when words didn't seem enough, they simply hugged.
School meant so much to her. She always had a great time here. She had an entire life here. So we wanted to celebrate that part of her life.
And celebrate they did. It was a party fit for a princess with a big name, a bigger smile, and the biggest heart. In Robbinsdale, I'm Cassie Bonstrom, 12 News.
Well, friends have started a fundraising page for the Banks family to help with expenses, and we'll have a link on our website at 12.tv. Well, coming up, one way to get a kid's attention.
What had students at a local elementary school focused for hours. But first in sports, local wrestlers take aim at a state title. Jay Wilcox is in next.
Jay Wilcox with sports, and we start with the state tournament for wrestling, and we have some good players, some good wrestlers on the mats.
That's right. A lot of people going on that last day, and if you're still in action on the last night of the season, you know you've done pretty well. It is a grueling 2 days, and only the strong survive. The individual portion of the state wrestling tournament wrapped up Saturday, starting with highlights from Class 3A 5th place matches. Brad Osseo of Maple Grove facing Seth Elwood of Apple Valley in black. Elwood gets a takedown. He goes on to win the 5th place match 8-1 over Osseo at 132 pounds. Armstrong Zach Rigg faces Wilmer's Von Johnson at 182 pounds. Rigg gets an escape in the 3rd overtime to score the clinching point, and he takes 5th place, winning 3-2. In the finals, Totino Grace with 3 wrestlers making it to championship matches in Class 2A, starting with Jared Florell facing unbeaten Carter Nielsen of Foley. Florell gets turned to his back here. Nielsen controls the match, and he goes on to win the state title at 170 pounds, 7-1. Jared's older brother, Isaac Florell, wrestles for the championship at 182 pounds, but Jackson Strigo of Orono gets his second period takedown and goes on to win the match 5-2. At 195 pounds, Grace's Lance Bennick takes the mat as a high school wrestler for the final time, gunning for his 4th straight title. Bennick takes down Carson Hagan of Worthington in the first period. In all, Bennick records 8 takedowns in the match as he wins 17-7 to bring home a 4th state championship. The boys basketball playoffs are heating up. Armstrong and Eden Prairie matched up in the Section 6 4A semifinals Saturday at EP. Sean Burns drives and then kicks it out to Trey Tate, and he knocks down a 3. The Falcons go up early in this one. Eden Prairie moves out front. Colton Simmer nails a 3 from the right side. The Eagles lead at 19-11. Final seconds of the first half, and Burns hits a turnaround off the glass. It beats the buzzer, and Armstrong's up 1 at halftime. Second half, and it's into Race Thompson. No charge here. He gets the bucket, and the Falcons lead by 2. Jerome Dixon gets into the lane, and his floater bounces around and drops. It's 59-54 Armstrong. But David Flom and the Eagles come back. Josh Lanasa drives and kicks it out to Ryan Jacobus for a 3 from the top of the key. It's 62-60 Eden Prairie. Armstrong comes right back though. Burns hits a turnaround jumper here, and it ties it up at 62 apiece. But Eden Prairie with a good late possession. Blake Cashman gets it inside and scores the winning hoop with under 5 seconds left. Armstrong is eliminated 64-62. Eden Prairie and Hopkins play for the section title Wednesday night at Cooper. In girls basketball, Park Center hosted Maple Grove with the West Division title on the line in the Northwest Suburban Conference. Park Center needing a win to tie Maple Grove for first, the Crimson trying to win it outright. It's a good start for Maple Grove. Haley Barker out to Maddie Tharp for a 3-pointer, and they take an early lead. Park Center comes back though. Camille McCoy to Michaela Hayes cutting through the lane for 2. Park Center goes on a nice run. Pashayo Iobamadeli knocks down a 3 as they take the lead. And after an offensive rebound, McKenna Dubois gets her chance to hit a 3. Park Center leads a low-scoring first half, 20-14. Into the second half, and Hayes scores 2 of her 12 points with the turnaround jumper here as the Pirates try to pull away a bit. They get out and run here, and Simonette misses, but Iobamadeli is there for the putback. Park Center's lead grows to 11 at this point and later to 13. Maple Grove comes back though. Mackenzie Barta scores the layup, and they get as close as 3 points. But Danielle Schaub and the Pirates win at 45-35, so the teams share the conference title. The Cooper girls hosting Benilde in the Metro West Conference. Benilde's Brooke Stanley steps into the passing lane and gets the steal. Stanley scores the layup despite the defender's best effort at 16-7 Red Knights. Cooper's UU Longs drills a three from the right side as the Hawks battle back within 21-15, 7 points for Longs in the game. A nice back screen sets up a Stanley to Azaria Jackson-Sherrod lob. The Red Knights lead Kiara Buford and the Hawks 32-21 at halftime. Second half, Sydney Leibold with a shot fake and drive for 2 of her 15 points. Cooper again fights back in this one. The long two brings them within 7, but it is Benilde holding on for a 1-point win, 58-57. So girls playoffs hitting high gear this week now.
Looks like a good game there. Thanks a lot, Jay. Well, who says kids don't have attention spans anymore?
Up next, young minds focus on an old game. We'll be right back.
I do not like them, Sam I am. I do not like green eggs and ham.
A retired volunteer from Centerpoint Energy read Dr. Seuss to celebrate Read Across America Day at Noble Elementary School. Students enjoyed the occasion wearing Cat in the Hat headwear. The annual event lets students take 20 minutes out of their day to enjoy a good book or magazine.
I hope the kids see that reading is really where they're going to get their education. And so anything that can stress how important reading is, that's needs to be done.
Looks good in a hat, too. Noble Elementary also received a $500 grant from Centerpoint Energy for new library books. Well, finally, young minds get a head start on one of the world's most strategic games.
At Robbinsdale Spanish Immersion School over the weekend, 80 kids tested their kings, queens, and bishops. It was the second annual chess tournament at the school for students from 5th grade to as young as preschool. Olivia Olson started the game in kindergarten, learning from her grandfather.
I like the strategy and the focus that you have to have and the patience.
It's not just something that they have to play while they're, in elementary school or something like that, and it'll build their excitement even more. We currently have one of the most exciting world champions since Bobby Fischer.
Coach Littman is referring to a 24-year-old chess prodigy from Norway, Magnus Carlsen, the world's #1 ranked player. The kids also got to meet chess whiz Wesley So of Minnetonka, who's ranked #1 in the U.S. The 21-year-old actually agreed to play the winners from this weekend's tournament on Friday. He will play all 10 at the same time. Get this, blindfolded. So good luck, kids, right?
Yeah,
or
sounds
good
like
luck,
fun.
Wesley, right? That does it for us. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you tomorrow.